Okay, so good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you're zooming in today. Welcome to another session of health, how to live a longer, healthier life. My name is Fred Gichuki. I welcome you all wherever you're zooming in. Today we are talking about organic farming, how to farm, how to increase the yield in your farm, but do it in a manner that will not affect your health and other people's health adversely. And we are going to just jump right into it and look at it and see what is organic farming and why is it important and why should people practice organic farming. Organic farming can be understood as an agriculture method that doesn't make use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. It thrives on the benefits obtained from recycling and use of natural products, green manure, biological pest control methods, and special cultivation techniques that are employed to maintain soil productivity. Many a times farmers complain that wanasema mchanga yangu imepata chumvi. In other words, their soil has become acidic. And as the soil becomes acidic, then you find that the production goes down. And farmers farm because they want to get maximum produce. But if your soil is acidic, then it means that you'll not be able to get the produce that you're looking for. Now, what are the benefits of having organic food on your table? Of course, the food tastes better. The products are actually very fresh. They have more antioxidants, they have more minerals, they have more nutrients in them. They're not GMO, they're not GMO engineered. There are no antibiotics used in organic plants. They are free of pesticides, of course, with the various challenges that can occur because of pesticides use. They're also better for the environment. They don't have a negative impact on the environment. They don't have any poison in them. Yeah. There has been a prevalence of lifestyle diseases, especially upcountry, in the way of cancer and other diseases. And this can be actually attributed in some instances to the fertilizers and chemicals that somebody has been using in the farm, which can result which can have adverse effects on the farmer themselves. We are not saying that all the fertilizers and all the chemicals used have an adverse effect, but there are some that do have, and there are some which have actually been banned globally because of their adverse effect on the farmer and on the crops. So let's look at some of the challenges that farmers face today and which they are battling. Yeah, soil erosion, runoff, which actually takes away the topsoil, takes it down to the rivers, and the farm is left dry. You find that when you lose the topsoil, then you don't have a lot of room for the roots to access nutrients. And there is a hard pan, the hard layer of soil that lies below the topsoil, which the roots are not able to penetrate. So you find that at the end of the day, the crops don't grow as well as they should be. Expensive agricultural outputs, that is definitely there. Pests and diseases, and that is what has made many farmers to apply pesticides, fungicides, and the rest. Unpredictable seasons and dry spell. You find that the rain starts and then somewhere it tapers off prematurely, and you find that now the crops don't grow as desired, and some crops are not able to even develop a fruit because the rain tapered off at some point. Over-reliance on chemical-based fertilizers and insecticides, I've talked about that. Lack of good education for farmers. These are just a few of the many challenges that farmers face today. At this point, I want to introduce this gentleman. He's the founder of NeoLife. It's called Jerry Brasfield. Jerry had a very interesting story. He had asthma. He used NeoLife products. They worked for him. He saw a gap in the market. He got in, started moving the products, became a distributor. And Jerry went on to look at what actually causes lifestyle diseases, because the focus of NeoLife is to end the trend of lifestyle of sickness and disease, especially lifestyle diseases that are taking so many lives. And Jerry developed a product that was meant to actually ensure that a farmer who is practicing organic farming can actually get the yield and even more yield than somebody who is using chemicals by themselves. And you'll find that if I look at that screen there, it talks about pesticides are used in many commercially grown fruit, vegetable, grain crops to protect them from insects, weeds, fungi, diseases, mice, and other animals, bacteria, viruses, and mold. This is why people use chemicals, and antibiotics also come in there. And Jerry came up with a product that can be used and is used by farmers, but it gives them good results, yeah, but it's also organic. It's made from the natural plants that we deal with on a daily basis. It has no chemicals in them. It is not corrosive. It does not negatively affect the environment or the user. And that product is called Supergrow. And Supergrow was developed mainly to assist farmers increase the yield, but also get good quality farm inputs, and also minimize the use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides in their farms. Yeah. Now, what is Supergrow? Now, Supergrow is a multi-purpose agricultural adjuvant specifically formulated to work with modern crop treatments and applications. Yeah. So Supergrow works either by itself, or it can also work with other farm inputs. Now, these are a few things that have been proven by the University of Nairobi about Supergrow. The first thing is that it improves soil penetration and availability of water or moisture in the soil. It improves soil penetration of water, the rain that you get, but it also enhances the availability of water in the crop, in the soil. It improves pesticide performance, improves fungicide performance, improves crop yield. Now, why is this important? By improving pesticide performance, then it means you need less of that. You need less of the pesticides that you're using. You need less of the fungicide performance. So it reduces the load that is occurs on the crop, on the soil, that would otherwise be quite large. Because you find that if you're doing 3 bags of fertilizer, when you're using Supergrow, you only need 1 bag, and that's good enough. And it works very well as a spreader. As you have seen up there, it is a very, very effective spreader. So you need less of the farm inputs as what you are using before. Now, how does Supergrow work? Supergrow makes water wetter. We have mentioned that it also optimizes soil penetration of water. It also reduces water runoff and evaporation. Now, when you look at it there, you find that if you look at the diagram on my right, which could be your left, you find that the normal penetration of roots for the crop is usually on the topsoil, just below the topsoil right there. But now when you use Supergrow, you find that Supergrow makes water wetter. The water is able to percolate and go below the topsoil, and it's able to penetrate the hard pan. The blue part you see there comprises of what we call the hard pan. This is a very tough layer of soil that occurs below the topsoil, and the roots of the crops are not usually able to penetrate. But when you use Supergrow, you find that now the roots of the crops are able to go below the hard pan and access the nutrients that God actually naturally put in the soil. As a result, you find that your crops will grow faster. Your crops will have high quality because they will access all the minerals, zinc, and all the good minerals that lie below the hard pan. And you find that your crop actually gets a very dark green color, and looks very good. Looks like somebody has been applying oil on the crops. And you find that when the production comes, the fruit will be very, very healthy, and it will be, you'll harvest more than the normal person who has not used Supergrow. Now, some of the other benefits of Supergrow is that it's an emulsifier, it's an adjuvant, it's a spreader and a sticker. I've talked about spreading, it's a spreader. It has its own sticker, so you don't need to use a sticker. And when you're spraying Supergrow, you can spray, if the crops have germinated, you start on the foliage, go down, and you spray the base. Make sure you wet the base, because it has benefits both on the foliage and also at the base of the crop. Because at the base of the crop, we have said it breaks down the soil structure so that the roots of the crop can access nutrients below the hard pan. On the foliage, it actually works as a sticker, and it helps to control things like the insects, the pests that usually affect the crop on the leaves. So these are some of the benefits of using Supergrow. Now, the other thing that is important about Supergrow, we call it the Wonder Drop. It can be used with all farm inputs, which actually require water. So we are talking about fertilizers, pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, and the like. If you're using the natural fertilizers and pesticides, organically formulated, you can also mix them with Supergrow, and it enhances their effectiveness. Yeah, because you can actually get they are available. You can get natural fertilizers, you can get natural pesticides, fungicides, and herbicides. So you can use them with Supergrow, and it actually does a very, very good job. Now, Supergrow, I had mentioned earlier, it can be used as a sticker, as a penetrant to improve protection on the crop. It's an emulsifier, spreads and dissolves oil for improved oil dispersions. And that is very, very important, especially for things like aphids, which form an oily layer that sticks at the back of the leaves. Now, when you use Supergrow, it's able to wash them off. They come off, yeah? As a sticker to improve better treatment adhesion and retention on plant surfaces, and acts like a natural greenhouse for the plant. It's a penetrant to enable applied fungicides and other applicants to be more effective, improves protection of the crop for longer. Yeah. The best way to save water is to make unavailable water available to a plant. And that is what exactly Supergrow does. Now, one of the things that you find with Supergrow is that when you spray it, like now we are having a bit of rain, when you spray Supergrow on the crop and on the base of the crop, it breaks the soil structure. So the roots of the crops are able to penetrate, but also the water is able to sink to the waterbed. Now, if the rains go and get finished at some point, and there's a lot of heat on the topsoil, then this water moves up, back up on the topsoil. So you get a kind of a mulching kind of effect on the soil, and your crops continue photosynthesizing, and they continue producing their own food. And that is why I always say that so long as your crops have germinated and you use Supergrow, you will definitely get a harvest. If it is dry, you can spray Supergrow in the evening after 6 o'clock, and it's able to harvest the dew for you. So it has quite a number of benefits. You can use it when it is wet. It will ensure that your soils will not have any waterlogging, because the water sinks to the waterbed. And it also keeps some moisture beneath the topsoils for your crops to continue producing food. But when it is dry again, it's able to harvest the dew at night, the moisture, so that your crops can have enough moisture to continue producing their own food. Okay. Then so Supergrow reduces water surface tension. It makes water wetter, boosting its ability to deliver life-sustaining moisture deeper into the plant root systems. This not only brings more water to where it is most needed, but reduces water loss through evaporation and runoff. Now, remember what I mentioned. When you use Supergrow, you will not have waterlogging in your soil. The water sinks to the waterbed. So your crops will not die off because of waterlogging. And then it also helps to retain the topsoil because it reduces runoff. The water won't just run off with your soil. Instead, it will sink to the waterbed. Okay. Supergrow is very economical. 1 ml, the dilution is 1 ml to a liter of water. So 20 ml for 20 liters of water. And it saves you money. It saves you money because you are able to use less farm inputs and you increase the yield. Because when you use Supergrow, you get 167% more harvest than what you are getting before. This was based on research that was done by University of Nairobi on Supergrow, and they proved that you increase the yield by 167%. Recently, I saw a farmer who was getting about 15 to 20 bags of maize in her farm, use Supergrow, and she was able to get 47 bags from the same farm. That is more than double what she was getting before. I mean, we've seen very exciting results. I saw a farmer in Makueni who used Supergrow, and he was harvesting 1 cob or 2 cobs per stem. And he sent me a picture where he was now harvesting 4 cobs per stem. So you can see this farmer is experiencing more than double the harvest that he was getting by using Supergrow. Now, it can be used on all crops and mixed with all agricultural applications. Now, the following information is based on performance testing conducted at the University of Nairobi. This is the research that I was alluding to that was done by the University of Nairobi under the supervision of the PCPB. And they used Supergrow, and they were trying to see the effect of Supergrow on angular leaf spot, early blight, aphids, and whiteflies. And they conducted several tests. They planted crops with Supergrow. In the first case, they took French beans, and they were now checking about angular leaf spot disease. And they took a fungicide and mixed it with Supergrow and applied on some crops. Then they took another section of crops and they applied fungicide plus a competitor's fungicide a fungicide and a competitor's product. Then they took fungicide and water only and applied on crops. And they compared the 3 batches of crops, and they looked at the production that came as a result. And they found that the decrease of angular leaf spot disease when they used fungicide and water alone was at 36%. The fungicide plus a competitor's product was at 37%. It was just marginally, it was 1% better than just using water alone and a fungicide. But then when they took Supergrow and a fungicide, they found that it reduced the amount of angular leaf spot disease by 41%. You can see it's a huge, huge difference as compared to the other 2 cases. That shows you the ability of Supergrow to enhance the effectiveness of fungicides performance on crops. Okay, then they went on and they looked at pesticides. And in this case, they were dealing with aphids and whiteflies. And it's on French beans again. And they took pesticide and Supergrow and they sprayed on particular crops. Then they took pesticides and a competitor's product, and they applied on a batch of crops. And they took pesticide only and they sprayed it on another batch of crops. And what they found is that in the case of Supergrow, the performance was much, much higher, which was approaching 80% and actually 69%, as compared to pesticide and a competitor's product, which was at about 72% or thereabouts, and the pesticides alone was about 62%. So you can see that definitely when you use Supergrow mixed with a pesticide, you'll get better results than when you use the pesticide by itself. And that is why we say Supergrow enhances the effectiveness and the performance of farm inputs. And you can see it there. That is Supergrow with a fungicide and Supergrow with a pesticide. Then they went to tomatoes, and in tomatoes, they were looking at early blights to start with. And again, they did a test. They took the fungicide only. They took a fungicide with a competitor's product, and then they took fungicide plus Supergrow. And the fungicide only was a 30% reduction in early blight. Fungicide and a competitor's product was about 38%, 39%. But then Supergrow was at 45% reduction of early blight. And you can see the difference right there. Then they went to tomatoes again, and this time again, they were doing aphids and whiteflies. And again, they did the same. They used a pesticide only. They used a pesticide and a competitor's product, and a pesticide and Supergrow. And they found that whereas Supergrow was sitting at about 93%, the pesticide and the competitor's product was at 90%, and pesticide only was at 89%. So you can see the difference right there. Supergrow makes a difference at all times. Then they looked at maximizing the crop yield. And they looked at it and they said, okay, fine. Let's see what happens here with Meshiri, French beans. And they saw that when you used, and of course, when you maximize crop yield, you actually increase profits. And crop yield improvement in percentage. What was a percentage improved crop yield when they used the fungicide and Supergrow vis-a-vis fungicide and water? Fungicide and water had about a 22% increase in crop yield. Fungicide and Supergrow on French beans had about 38% increase in crop yield. Pesticide, again, the same thing was seen. Pesticide only had only about 10% increase, but pesticide and Supergrow had about 33% increase in profits and in the yield. Then they went to tomatoes, did again the same test, and they used pesticide alone, and they saw that pesticide with Supergrow was sitting at about 45%, and pesticide only was actually at about 35%. Then they took fungicide and Supergrow again, fungicide only, and again, the results, the difference was quite big, because you can see there, fungicide alone is sitting at almost 50%, whereas fungicide only was actually at about 30%, 32%. But when they use fungicide with Supergrow, then you find that there was an increase of about 50% in terms of the crop yield. So that tells you one thing, what we've been saying all along, that when you use Supergrow with the farm input, then you actually improve the performance of the farm input, but you'll also increase the yield that you're getting before. Lastly, they looked at red spider mite and what effect Supergrow, the use of Supergrow had on dealing with red spider mites. And they used insecticide with a competitor's product, and they found that they looked at the results, and then they looked at insecticide and Supergrow and in reduction of red spider mite. And they found that now with the insecticide and a competitor's product, there was a 30% reduction of red spider mites. But when they used Supergrow and insecticide, then there was about 44% decline in the red spider mites infecting the roses. Then they looked at powdery mildew, and again, they did the same test. They took fungicide alone with a competitor's product, and they had a 22% decline in powdery mildew. and they took fungicide and supergrow, and they found that they had a 35%, not 35, 33% reduction in powdery mildew right there. Okay, so that is it. There you have it. So those are tests that were done by University of Nairobi, and they actually confirm what we've been saying. Sorry, somebody is writing on my screen. Kindly desist from writing on the screen. So other benefits of Supergrow: it is versatile, it is economical, it has a concentrated formula, it's 1,000-to-1 dilution. Of course, if you have soil that is very tough, like black cotton soil, you can do, instead of doing 20 ml for 20 liters, you can do 40 ml for 20 liters, or even 60 ml for 20 liters. But the spraying should be done, maximum should be once a week or once in 2 weeks. Don't spray every day, you'll mess it up. Spray either once a week or once in 2 weeks, okay? Now, it is safe, easy to use and handle. It is non-toxic, non-caustic, non-flammable. It's multi-purpose for both indoor and outdoor plants, and it has a proven performance, yeah? Okay, that is Supergrow right there. That's the way it looks. If you've never seen Supergrow, you've seen it there. Okay. Properties of Supergrow. It's an agricultural wetter and sticker that improves retention of spray on plant surfaces and enhances distribution of spray over plant foliage. It reduces surface tension of spray mixture, that's improving wetting properties. Supergrow improves spreading properties of pesticide and fertilizers, thus improving their efficacy. It may also be used in cleaning, spraying equipment. Yeah, we've talked about how to mix it. Okay, application. We've said 1 ml to a liter of water. Some testimonies out there. Yeah. It can be used on bananas. You can see the difference. You can see how that banana looks. It is quite heavy. The fruit is quite good. You can use it for guavas. It improves the size of the guava. It improves the quality of the guava. Yeah. So you get very good results with that. It can be used for coffee. I remember a case of 2 farmers. One used Supergrow, one did not. The one who had not used Supergrow had a big farm, so he harvested about 100 bags. The one who used Supergrow had a small farm, so she harvested about 50 bags of coffee. That is in Karatina, near where I come from. And what happened is that when they went to weigh the coffee, the farmer who had 50 bags had more kilos than the farmer who had 100 bags. And that proved one thing, that Supergrow helps in enhancing the quality of the final produce. And of course, because you are being paid as per the kilos you deliver, the person who walked away with the money was the person who had 50 bags rather than the person who had 100 bags. And I always marvel at the fact, you can imagine, to produce 100 bags of coffee, I'm sure he had used a lot of manpower, a lot of farm inputs, but the results were not that exciting because the person who had 50 bags of coffee ended up with more money than the person who had 100 bags of coffee. And that is what happens with Supergrow. It also does a wonderful job on maize. I mentioned earlier that if you're harvesting 1 cob or 2 cobs per stem, you get 3 to 4 cobs per stem when you use Supergrow. It's also good for beans. The resulting effect is just amazing. It just does a wonderful effect on beans. Get good quality, more production, and just amazing. You can see it there on tubers. Tubers do very well. Cassavas. Cassava there, you can see the size of that cassava. It just does an amazing job for cassavas. Tomatoes. One of my distributors in Oloitoktok, I remember one time she had actually done about 40 acres of tomatoes, and she lost most of that crop. She was telling me she lost more than 500,000 Kenyan shillings. And the next season, she used Super Grow. And she was able to harvest more than 13 times. And as she harvested, she got a better quality. Every time she harvested, she got better quality. She ended up buying a brand new canter because of using Supergrow. So Supergrow does a wonderful, wonderful job. You just need to try it for yourself and see what can happen because of using Supergrow. So this brings me to the end of my presentation as far as Supergrow is concerned. And in closing, I just want to say a few things that I find to be very important with Supergrow. And one thing that I find to be quite exciting about Supergrow, because I've used Supergrow and I've dealt with it for many, many years. I've been with this company for more than 20 years. I joined this company in 1996, so I'm not new to Supergrow. And I've seen farmers use it from tea, coffee, wheat, you name it, all kinds of crops. Farmers have used Supergrow. And the results that they have gotten have been quite amazing. One thing I tell farmers is, if you want to see the results of Supergrow, especially if you're starting, kindly be there when they are mixing the product and when they are spraying it in the farm. Because many of the farm hands, especially where you you have employees, if you give them this product, they already know about this product. And unfortunately, many employees are not that honest. They end up fetching and taking some Supergrow home to spray in their own farms. And some of them have discovered other uses of Supergrow. And they end up taking your product, going and using it at home. And then you find that you're not getting the results you're looking for. Simply because the person who was meant to spray did not do the job as was prescribed or as you wanted them to do it. So be there when they are spraying and let them spray one section and not spray another section. Have a control of the project so that you can see the area that has been sprayed. You evaluate the performance. Again, when you spray the entire farm, somebody can tell you, oh, it is a grain, that it is a seed that you used that was so good, or it was the weather. Then you'll not know how effective Supergrow is. But when you spray a certain section and you don't spray, you leave a certain section without spraying as a control, then you're able to see the difference between the two areas. Then nobody can shake you and tell you that Supergrow doesn't work because you'll have seen it for yourself. So be there when they are using the crop, the farm input that is Supergrow, especially when you're starting to use Supergrow in your farm. I saw a case of a farmer who had a greenhouse, my customer, and she bought a 5-liter jerrycan of Supergrow, gave it to the farmhand, and there was no change in the production. And she said, oh, I'm not going to buy this thing again. It's not working. I said, okay, just buy it one more time. Let me go now and work closely with this farmer and make sure that he actually sprays this thing the right way. And he did it. And the results were just amazing. She could not believe the kind of results that we got. When I sat down with the farmhand and we had a tete-a-tete, we were talking. And I was telling the man, you're spoiling my business because you're telling this lady that this thing is not working. And she's saying my product. I said, oh, don't worry about it. You know, I had taken it home. That I had some crops at home and I needed to spray them. So you find that at the end of the day, you can actually be buying Supergrow and your farmhand is benefiting and you're not benefiting yourself. So that's the first thing. Be there when it is actually being sprayed. Be there to do the dilution or have somebody that you trust who ensures that it is done properly. Yeah. Then again, don't spray more than once a week. Maximum should be once a week or once in 2 weeks. Don't do it more than that because then it will be counterproductive and you may not get the results that you're looking for. I saw a case, and these I've seen, and it's important to know this, where somebody says, I use Supergrow, oh, it didn't work for me. I saw a case in Kinangop of a farmer who was doing cabbages. And I told him maximum should be once a week or once in 2 weeks. And the guy decided he was going to spray every day, so that he can harvest faster and get more production. And what happened is that the crops did not perform as well. They became yellowish. And he called me, say, oh, this product of yours is not working. I went there and I asked him, okay, fine. How are you applying it? Are you doing it once a week or once in 2 weeks? What is your dilution rate? And the guy had to come out clean and tell me, enyewe, I was doing it on a daily basis because I wanted to harvest faster. And I told him, my friend, you are the one who is killing your own crops. You are giving it an overdose of the product. Yeah. So I told him, correct that. Allow the crop about a week or two to rest. Then now start spraying, but do it only once a week or once in 2 weeks. He did that and he was able to salvage that crop. So that is the exciting thing about Supergrow. I can tell you, I've seen so many things happen with Supergrow, and it's just an amazing product. A funny one. One time I went to Kinangop and I did a presentation. There were about several farmers, and I told them about Supergrow and the fact that it is organic and natural, and they got excited. And when I was coming back, when I reached Nakuru, they called me and they told me, Fred, the farmers have drunk Supergrow. I said, what? Why did you drink Supergrow? I told you it's not for consumption. I mean, why do that? Said, you told us this thing is organic, so we are trying it. I said, you can try, but you should not try with yourself, you know? So it was quite exciting right there. So I told them, take a lot of water. Take a lot of water, and we'll talk after a few days. We see what happens. So I called them after about a week or two and asked them, so what happened? Say, oh, well, we had a running stomach for a day or two, and but our appetites improved. And where my stomach was, the farmer told me why his stomach was rumbling, it's no longer rumbling. We had a good laugh about it. And it was quite hilarious. I'm not saying you drink it. I'm not saying you drink Supergrow. Supergrow is not for ingestion. It is not meant for people to drink. But I'm just giving you stories that have happened in the field in the process of dealing with Supergrow that have actually been quite exciting. But bottom line, what I can tell you about Supergrow, if you start from planting stage and you spray planting stage, in fact, I tell farmers, if you can't spray on the soil, then plant your crops, put manure or whatever you're putting, spray again on top of the manure. When it germinates, continue spraying once in 2 weeks, continue spraying. But the rule of the thumb is mix it with anything that you're putting in the farm. What will happen is that you'll get 2 to 3 times the harvest that you're getting before. But if you've already planted, you can still spray, you'll get an improved crop harvest, and you'll still get an increase in the yield. But those who get the maximum, the highest, the double and the triple are those who start from planting stage. So that's very important as far as Supergrow is concerned. And for most crops, you spray and you stop just before flowering for most crops. Yeah. For some crops, after the fruit has developed, you can continue spraying. Yeah, but that depends on the particular crop that you're talking about. But otherwise, it was great talking to you guys. Supergrow has a fantastic business behind it. You can get this product from the person who invited you. They can sell it to you if you're a guest on this call, or you can join NeoLife and become a distributor and start distributing Supergrow, and you end up making money and actually enjoying yourself. There's a lot of money behind Supergrow. There's a business idea behind Supergrow, which is quite amazing. If you want to know more about making money, join us tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Pascal Olo, our leader from South Africa, will be talking to us about how do you make money with Supergrow and other products of NeoLife. Otherwise, it was great talking to you guys. This recording will be available a little bit later today, so you can download it and just share it with your people and join us in this journey of ending lifestyle diseases, making the world a healthier and a happier place. Thank you all. God bless you. We'll be back again next Sunday, where we'll be talking about a different aspect of health, and we'll be having another guest speaker who will actually be coming to share with us. So thank you all. I see there are a lot of comments on the call. Sorry, I've not been able to, today I'm riding solo, so I've not been able to really handle the questions. But if there's a burning one, I know okay. I know if you have a burning question, you can just talk to your upline. If they can't be able to answer that, they'll forward it to me, and I'll be able to answer the question that you could be asking about. There are quite a number. There are quite a bit here. Yes, does it mean we should spray the soil around the plant? Yes, it means that you wet the area around the plant for maximum benefit of the crop. Waterlogged areas, you can do the maximum. You can do 60 ml for 20 liters in an area which is waterlogged. Okay, the study apart from, okay. Well, for me, I recommend, if you want to know more, apart from the University of Nairobi study, because that study took about 4 years and it was very comprehensive, and it was done under the supervision of Pest Control Board, PCPB, which licenses farm inputs. That study is quite sufficient. But if you feel that's not enough, you can do your own study. You can buy some super grow, try it out in your farm, and you can see the results that it will actually give you. Okay. Okay. Well, I think that's about it for me. Guys, it was great talking to you. Have a blessed evening. This recording will be available later. God bless you and have a fantastic